They laughed at him the way folks do when they think someone's too small to matter. If you're gonna mop marble floors, at least don't look like you're auditioning for some secret agent movie. One of the analysts sneered, sipping his overpriced latte, pointing toward the janitor bending by the revolving doors. His buddy chimed in. Seriously, what's that tattoo even supposed to be? Illuminati janitorial division laughter spilled across the polished lobby of Sterling Federal sharp and deliberate. But the janitor, Marcus Lane, didn't flinch. He kept sliding the mop left to right, slow and steady, like a man who had nowhere to be, but everywhere to notice. His gray uniform hung loose, almost hiding a build too solid for someone his age. And on his right arm, creeping out from under the rolled sleeve, sat the thing they mocked, a faded tattoo of an all-seeing eye carved into a 7-pointed star. Not a trendy design, not random, deliberate. Marcus didn't meet their eyes. Instead, he looked just once at the security camera above the lobby doors, then went back to work. What they didn't see was the way his jaw clenched, the way his gut tightened, when a man in an orange inspector's vest slipped through the side door, clipboard in hand. The kind of guy no one ever questions. Too quiet, too focused. Marcus knew the type. You don't forget how predators move. Upstairs in a corner office high above the city, Victoria Hale, CEO of Sterling Federal, was shredding her assistant with a look sharp enough to cut glass. Numbers weren't adding up. Transactions were stalling, glitches appearing out of nowhere. Pull the plug on the offshore accounts and move into federal bonds, she ordered without blinking. Her voice had that kind of steel that made men twice her size shrink. She liked predictable problems because she could cut them clean. But today, nothing felt predictable. Down below, Marcus rinsed his hands in the custodial sink, staring at his reflection under the flickering fluorescent lights. His finger traced the tattoo once, then he rolled his sleeve down. Always 3 turns. No more, no less. A voice came over the building's PA. Attention, scheduled HVAC maintenance will begin at 11 a.m. Marcus froze. He was the one who usually opened that floor. There was no scheduled maintenance. He opened the hidden drawer beneath bottles of bleach and gloves. Inside, a ring of keys, some labeled, most not. His hand hovered, then took the second unlabeled one. His body moved calm, but his chest felt heavy. He had spent years burying the man he used to be. But sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. At 10:57 a.m., the first security feed blinked to black. At 10:59, the electronic locks failed. And at exactly 11 a.m., 3 floors went dark. Screams echoed through the marble atrium. Armed men poured out of service elevators, rifles raised, masks down. The false inspector wasn't inspecting, he was leading them. In the executive boardroom, Victoria's phone buzzed. A message from security. Just 2 words. We're in. Marcus heard it too. Not from a phone, but from the silence that followed. That kind of silence, thicker than alarms, that tells a man who's lived through ambushes, it's time. He took off his janitor badge, slid it into his back pocket, and whispered 4 words to himself. Don't make me remember. On the 20th floor, chaos ripped through the boardroom. Executives zip-tied a security officer forced to betray them because his family was threatened. Victoria stood tall, even when a pistol was shoved in her face. You want to scare me, she said flatly. You'll need more than a gun. But her eyes flickered when she noticed the mark carved into one attacker's rifle, the same 7-pointed star she'd seen on the janitor's arm. Meanwhile, in a sublevel corridor, Marcus dragged a cart into the shadows, flipped open a hidden compartment, and pulled out a slim black case. Inside lay a compact radio, a bypass chip, and an ID card so old the photo barely looked like him. Agent Marcus Lane. Sentinel Echo Program. Status Black Active. He powered the radio. Dead. They jammed the grid. He expected that. He closed his eyes, took a breath, and stepped into the dark, his body remembering a rhythm he'd sworn never to use again. One by one, the intruders started falling, a cord looping out of nowhere. A wrench turned into a weapon. 2 strikes. Silence. He stripped a headset off a fallen man, clicked into their comms. Static. Then a voice. Delta 6. Confirm status. Marcus clicked twice. A pause. Copy. Proceeding to secondary. He smiled grimly. Still speaks the same language. In the boardroom, Victoria leaned toward her CFO, whispering, "That janitor. The tattoo guy. He's not what we think." Her suspicion turned to certainty when minutes later the emergency door burst open. The lights flickered. 2 guards collapsed in silence, and in the doorway stood Marcus, blood on his sleeve, eyes calm, voice steady. "You okay?" Victoria blinked, breathless. "You're late." He allowed the faintest smile. Wasn't on the schedule. He cut her restraints with a multi-tool, placed a radio in her hand. "Stay on channel 4. Don't speak unless I say so." She followed him through tunnels no one knew existed. "You have a name," she pressed. "Or should I keep calling you the janitor?" "Marcus," he said finally. "That's all that still matters." But upstairs, Ren, the leader of the assault, was unraveling. He'd heard the name over comms, spoken like a ghost story. Marcus Lane. A man supposed to be dead. The last survivor of ruin. A mission so black it was erased from history. If Marcus was here, this wasn't a heist anymore. It was war. Ren snarled into his mic. "Run every face in this building. Find me that ghost." Victoria and Marcus reached a maintenance hatch. He pushed it open. "This takes you 5 blocks away. You'll be safe." "You're not coming?" she asked. "Not yet. They're not finished." She stared at him. "You're injured." "I'm alive." Her voice cracked sharper than she meant. "Why are you really here?" He looked at her. Really looked, and something broke behind his eyes. "Because people like them took everything from me. And people like you made a world where it was easy to forget men like me even existed." He softened. "But I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to make sure no one else disappears today." She swallowed hard, nodded, and slipped into the hatch. Before vanishing, she whispered, "If you make it out, you owe me the truth." He whispered back, "Don't thank me yet." And then he turned back toward the storm. The fights grew dirtier. Marcus dismantled men twice his size, his body moving like a memory too sharp to fade. He bled, he staggered, but he kept moving. In the hostage room, he knocked 3 times on the steel duct and whispered, "Stay low. Cover your faces." When 2 intruders stormed in, Marcus struck from the shadows. Fast, brutal, final. The hostages gasped when they saw his face. Not the janitor anymore. Something else. By the time Ren cornered him in the vault control center, Marcus's body was torn shoulder half out of place, blood dripping into his eye. Ren stood tall, detonator in hand, eyes blazing. "You think mopping floors erases the dead?" Ren spat. 9 men buried because of you. You wave a mop now like it's penance. You don't deserve peace. Marcus's voice was low, worn, but unshaken. "I carry them every day. But you turn them into excuses for power." Ren's thumb hovered over the trigger. "This ends with fire." Marcus dropped his gun, stepped forward, palms open. "No, this ends with choice. You can burn everything down, or you can stop pretending the dead gave you permission." For a heartbeat, something flickered in Ren's eyes. Then he pressed the trigger. Click. Nothing. Marcus moved. Faster than thought. He ripped the detonator away, slammed Ren against the server racks, fists flying. Old soldiers, unfinished business. The room shook with their blows until finally Ren lay broken, not dead, just beaten out of breath, out of excuses. Silence. Victoria appeared in the doorway, wrists still raw, eyes locked on Marcus. "You found redemption?" she asked. He wiped blood from his brow, breathing hard. "Not redemption. Something better." "What's that?" He looked at her, really looked. "A reason to stop hiding." When SWAT finally breached, they didn't find a janitor. They found a ghost standing steady with his back to the hostages. Their captain froze at the sight of the tattoo, then raised his hand in a solemn salute. The lobby followed agents, paramedics, even clerks bowing their heads in quiet respect. No laughter now, no snickers, just silence. The kind that means someone finally sees you. Marcus didn't ask for medals. He didn't take the fancy job Victoria later offered. He picked up his mop, rolled his sleeve back down, and went back to work. But this time, every nod, every quiet thank you told him the world knew. As he stepped into the sunlight outside Sterling Federal, a young boy broke from the crowd holding a sketch of a janitor with wings. "Sir, are you the one who saved my dad?" the boy asked, voice shaking. Marcus crouched, placed a rusted gear in the boy's hand. "I'm not a hero," he whispered. The boy looked at him, eyes wide. "But you tried. Doesn't that count?" Marcus's jaw clenched. "Yeah," he said softly. "Yeah, it counts." And he walked away, shoulders squared, head high, not for glory, not for applause, but because someone had to keep standing when the world tried to fall. Now let me ask you, what do you think? Was Marcus right to walk back into the shadows? Or should a man like him step into the light where the world can see him? Have you ever judged someone too quickly, only to realize you were dead wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if stories like this remind you that quiet courage still matters, make sure you're subscribed because we've got more coming your way.